Checky, checky, check. Checky, checky, check, check. Ba-na-na-na-na-ba-na-ba-ba-da. We have a very interesting request. Hey, Cappy, I want to get a video on your take of this. Describe a millennial nursing home of the future. Please be as thorough and detailed as possible with your description. Let's start with the strongest image, the building from the outside. How would that look like as you walk towards it from the parking lot? Well, it has a bunch of questions here, so I'll answer them individually. Then maybe I'll pontificate my own opinion. I'm going to imagine it's very much like public schools or wherever we send the people that we don't like. It's going to be 70s architecture, minimalist, Soviet, everything the millennials hope for, socialism. It will be government, and it will be drab. It'll look like why is Grandpa in prison? That's basically like little Jamie will go, I want to see Grandpa, but this presumes millennials would have had sex, so it's pretty preposterous, like there'd be grandchildren involved. But let's just assume that a millennial male managed to procreate, and there were progeny afterwards. The child would be incredibly afraid to walk into it. I've had dealings with nursing homes when I was very young, and this is in the 80s, and they weren't pretty. I can only imagine. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Hang on. Let me deal with this. I bet you it's some fucking scam. Of course. All right, there we go. This isn't quality consulting. This is just asshole consulting. So don't get your hopes up, boys and girls. Lower your standards and expectations. Then I might actually be an impressive individual. All right. So it'd just be like your rank, university, state university college building, like this crappy 1970s crap building. Looks like a Star Wars installation. Nothing fancy. Let's start with how would the knobs at the door to get into the lobby look like? I don't know. They look like regular. Maybe you have to be buzzed in. That's a dumb question. Moving on. What kind of colors would those lobby doors be painted? They would be painted generally a white or a beige. I'm just imagining all the other nursing homes I've been in. Not to be too loud, not to be too exciting, but I also see that there would be a lot of fluorescent lighting because it's cheap. But something very sterile, very sterile. And I'm imagining Nurse Ratched, like she's just, and not in the hot outfit she wore back in the 70s, like a grubby person with scrubs, because scrubs are completely unsexy. What kind of colors? What kind of staff would the nursing home hire and wire? All right. Because the millennials cannot have enough open borders, there will be a ton of immigrants. And here's where I don't know, and the immigrant community can speak to this as me. Do you guys swallow whole the white man bad, the white person bad indoctrination that you're getting in the public schools? So if the millennials, we're talking like 30 years out, maybe the current immigrants are like, well, what, dude? No, everyone's happy. I'm thankful to be here. But their children, when they go through school, who are going to be the bedpanners and your orderlies and your nurses, like, oh, the white people kept you down. Heaven help you if you're a white millennial. Heaven help you. Because I have a feeling if people take to that indoctrination that here's the white person, the white man, the white woman, who oppressed you, and you're there like, you may not get the best treatment. From first generation immigrants, I think you would, because they're just happy to be here and they're like a little bit more intellectually honest. But once they get to the public schools, heck, it doesn't have to be the immigrants. Just some Marxist leftist, like I had privilege and I'm going to strike back at the patriarchy or the whiteness or whatever, and unplug your tubes or give you crappy service. And let's also admit, you millennials just can't get enough of the dick of socialism up inside you. Government healthcare. I wonder how that's going to look like. So it's going to be bad. Now, I did work hospital security, and because Americans are lazy, and this is where I will stand up for the immigrants, most of the orderlies and the people who did the non-glorious jobs were immigrants. They were. And they were professionals, and they were good, and they were humble, and way better than the moxie, mouthy nurses who grew up over in Edina, right? So hopefully you get those good immigrants, but if that generation, because you millennials can't vote enough for leftist indoctrination, right? At the public schools, you can't wait to have like, oh, white man bad. You can't have that enough. I wonder how that's going to play out when the generation of the immigrants are brought up. Wonder what will happen. Wonder. So the staff will be questionable. Right now, you're pretty good because they're here. I've seen them. South Korean, all the Dominican Republic. They're working hard. So far, pretty good. But if they're not fresh off the boat and like happy to be here, wiping your ass, frankly. Well, we can't expect white people from Edina to do that. If it's their kids, you're kind of screwed. If they went through the public schools. What kind of activities would they have for millennial residents? Oh, I don't know. Cheetos and porn. What activities? What would they have? I don't know what they would do. Because what's the difference between a millennial today and a millennial in a nursing home? Nothing. They're both fat. They're overweight. They don't do anything in their lives. I mean, you're literally just moving them from the basement of their parents' place to a nursing home. And then they have their internet. They'd be shoved in like heroin. I don't think there'd be activities. It'd just be all on the internet, right? What? Go out, look around, adventure, move my wheelchair? What do you think it's going to be like The Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino? Hooah, hey, let's go, Charlie. We're going to drive a Ferrari. That's not, the millennials are just, look, they don't even live life. They might as well not be alive. I don't see what the functional difference is between the average millennial today and what their life is going to be in a nursing home, because they're not living in either case. What types of food would they serve? The cheapest, the absolute cheapest. Because it's going to be, here, let's put it this way. One, the millennials ain't having kids. Two, if the millennials do have kids, they are just as bad, if not worse, than their baby boomer parents in terms of raising the kids. So they will alienate the kids because they indoctrinate them, because the millennials just can't get enough socialist dick down their throat. And so the women go, they do their degrees and their masters. They don't raise their kids. The fathers are pussies. They don't train their sons, which only means I'm going to have more money. I thank God you millennials don't raise your children. Thank God there are no fathers available. Thank God, because I have lifelong employment now. Trying to figure out how this goes back to food. I forget it. I lost it. It's gone. What kind of food would they serve? Crappy food. Oh, that's how it's going to go. Because you've alienated your children. They're not going to. It's going to be government. You do know that, millennials. It'll be government. Because you voted for the state in replacement of family, particularly husbands and men. You voted for the state. The state is your family, not individuals. You voted for that. Understand that. And when the state is impassioned, doesn't care, and goes to the lowest cost denominator, don't be surprised when your food is like that at a school lunch program. And don't expect visits. Oh, by the way, millennial old farts, don't expect your children to visit you. They will hate you. They will absolutely hate you. And they say, what did I pay 15.3% of my income for? if not for you to be taken care of by the government. That's why I don't care about my parents. Like, I don't care. I can literally walk away from my parents and be like, well, I've been paying 15.3% this entire time. So you better be able to live off of that. No, I'm not helping you move. No, I'm not helping. I don't care. I will let you be a ward of the state. And I think that conversation I've had with them has scared them. Like, I'm not a scientist, but I think if you threaten your parents, like, I'm not taking care of you, Alzheimer's decreases all of a sudden because, like, oh shit, I better do something. It jogs the brain. Like, hey, you better don't get comfy. You better jog your memory. You better fire up these neurons. Okay, here we go. So what kind of food would they serve? What government food? MREs. And you Democrat millennial, you're gonna like it. You're gonna love it. Will these millennial residents be as insufferable and idiotic as they are today? Yeah, they would. Yeah. No, there's no doubt about it. At their certain point in time, if you're in a nursing home, you're going to be a pain in the ass. They might be more insufferable because they'll have expectations. They'll have everything paid for, participation trophies. The problem is the psychopaths are going to be in charge of the psych ward. We're going to have Gen Zers or whatever comes after Gen Z, whatever even more pussified shit that comes after Gen Z is going to be like the bedpanners of the millennials and be in charge of them. And I can't imagine like the entitlement of a millennial nursing home resident barking orders at a Gen Z or whatever comes Gen Alpha. Like, oh my God. They'll just let you sit in your shit. They'll let you sit in your filth. I'm not joking. It will be second world, third world type of shit. Because you guys all worship the almighty government. The government doesn't give a shit about you, but it's all right. And you alienated whatever individuals you might have had with you. And you gals keep get divorced. He ain't worth it, girlfriend. Why is my son not visiting me? Do I have a son? Who am I? You die confused and pained and agony. That'd be a miserable existence. But that's the millennial existence. What else do you feel you want to add to it? Go for it. You get the idea. Just be as thorough with your description and the prediction of what a millennial nursing home of the future would look like. All right, you think people don't visit their grandparents now in a nursing home? The millennials don't even have kids. It will be a state-run nursing home. And because millennials are even worse than boomers. Oh, just so you know, millennials are boomers version 2.0. They hate the boomers and what they did to them, but they're too stupid to realize how the boomers lied to them. So they're going to make the same mistakes in that, like boomers version 2.0, just, like with steroids. And they're not going to have any kids. Admitted, I'm not going to have any kids either, but I got the Smith & Wesson retirement plan, so at least I'm intellectually honest. They're just going to be miserable. And here's the thing, they don't have to get to the nursing home to be miserable. They'll be miserable by 45, 50. The wine and the cat. The guys will be jerking off the porn and, playing their video games, whatever, which, okay, I'm for video games and porn. I'm just, shouldn't be the center of your life. Can we admit, pull it up here again, that the millennials are just a wasted generation? Like this generation, it's like a do-over, like scratch it out, take it off the records. The millennials are already miserable. Now you want to add nursing home on top of it. One, who cares about them? Nobody. Did they create anyone to care about them, let alone be able to care about them? Because like touchy-feely, hands-off Dr. Spock, not Spock from Star Trek, but from the child psychology book. No, they didn't. They voted for socialism, so they replaced the individual with the government. They replaced family with the government. So now you have a mindless, impassionate bureaucrat in charge of your standards of living. And frankly, they lack the intellectual fortitude or intelligence to actually be an independent-minded person like, what was it? Chris Smith in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's... No, Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That would be the exception, the rare exception. I mean, let's be honest. The millennials are going, the second half of their lives is going to be the same as the first half of their lives. Confused, miserable, depressed, and sad. And at any point in time, they can wake up and say, I demand individuality, responsibility, and freedom, and low taxes, and Americanism, and the American way. But that takes effort. And most humans are pieces of shit. And they will always choose to go the easy route. So most of the millennials will just continue the second half of their life as they would the first half of their life. Government dependent. I don't want to take action. I want to take individual responsibility. Some will have kids. They'll also not raise them because raising children is hard, and so is spanking. And there won't be anyone there for them. There'll be it's sad, but it'll be like this truly neutral generation that may have never existed. They didn't care about themselves. No one cared about them. Parents, they raised children, didn't care about them. And then they'll go away. And then we'll have the bad times again. And bad times will create and forge great people, strong men. Like your grandfather who loves you. And I called you a little shit. Like, ah. By the way, my grandpa was like, it's kind of funny. I'll tell you a story. Gather round, kids. Uncle Cappy's going to tell you a story. It's a very statistically unlikely chance I existed, which I guess could be said for anybody. But I had two grandpas, obviously. One served Europe, one served Pacific. My grandpa in the European theater, was marching double file. And the guy next to him got sniped out. Boom. Now, why did the sniper choose that guy and not my grandpa? Don't know, but here I am. And then my grandpa on the Pacific theater, he was supposed to go on the first wave of Iwo Jima. And this is your boat. You're going to go on this boat. And then at the last minute, they switched him to another boat. So they're riding out, and then the boat up ahead of him got hit with a mortar. Everyone's dead. If he was on the boat, he would have been dead. So it's like, okay. So, kind of like, I'm thankful I'm here. But with the millennials, that won't matter. Did you get hit with a mortar or not? Did you get sniped out or not? You weren't going to do anything with your life anyway. You're just going to sit there like, hey, I need more government money. Barack Obama, Joe Biden saved my life. So yeah, but when they survive, they like, wow, we got life. Whoa. And one grandpa was like all about food and eating and enjoying life. And the other one was about stability and family, and the two distinctly different personalities, but they both cherished life in their own regards. One pursued vice and was the fun grandpa. The other was more stable and family. Wasn't the funnest grandpa, but you had to salute him and respect him. Millennials ain't got that. You got your worthless fucking socialist politics. Like, I care about giving other people's money so I feel good about myself. There's no core. There's no sacrifice. They're completely worthless until they wake up and have an epiphany. Like, holy cow, it's other people that matters most. This will just be a wasted generation, a generally neutral generation that may not have existed. Might as well not have existed. And so when they go to the nursing home, they're going to be at the mercy of the taxpayer, which will be cheap. No one's going to come save them because they were so obsessed with themselves, as were boomers. Like, they were boomers 2.0. And what children they may have had, they've alienated because, well, mom can't raise her own children. Mom has to work. I have a master's degree in whatever jerk-off studies you did, and you dads were too big of pussies to actually stand up and say, hey, maybe we ought to raise our children. No, I'm like, I got my bag of popcorn. I'm just waiting for the millennials to turn 45. So there you go. Any super chats? Got a couple here. Oh, we got more than a couple here. All right. Big Vis, $4.97, $10. When I was a kid, the old people I knew were independent and had skills. Just imagine your average millennial at 70. Oh my God, exactly. How do I change a tire? Can't cook, can't do anything, no family. Poop in their pants alone playing video games. If they even know how to play video games at that time. Joseph Jones, who is a very dapper man, but he had some competition with another dapper man trying to emulate Kevin Samuels. $5. Slightly better than the Unplugged Alpha by Rich Cooper. Cappy asked for a particular review. Hopefully, dude, did you do that, Joe? Joe, was that you? Holy fucking shit. Thank you, man. Because I screenshotted that. I said to Rich, victory dance. Thanks, Joe. If that was you. That's great, man. That's great. You guys have greatly better than you didn't have to say slightly better, but thanks, Joe. Joe again for $2. Thank you kindly, Joe. Joe again for another $2. What is the ultimate Cappy retirement? It's a bullet in the head. And people think that's dark. And this is probably one of the most misunderstood things about me. Everyone's like, Aaron Cleary says, kill yourself because there's no. It's like, no, that's not what I said. If you're terminally ill and in physical pain, you should probably off yourself. If you get a death sentence, but they say for $600,000, it can keep you alive for another 3 months. Dude, put a bullet in your head. You did it. Just leave the $600,000 for your nieces or your nephews or your children or your family or something else. But the ultimate Cappy retirement is just like, I lived it. I worked hard. I worked until I could work no more. I did things, and now I can no longer. And I'll be perfectly honest. Like, let's say I got impaired somehow. I'm not talking like in a wheelchair or like, a vegetable, but like if I couldn't hike or motorcycle ride, like let's say I was in a wheelchair or a hiking thing, I'd have a hard time with that, man. I'd have a hard time with that. But if you're talking about retirement life, like it's what I'm doing now. Hiking, riding motorcycles, doing my thing, shooting guns, enjoying good food. But if you meant like, the death part of retirement, it's like, no, end it as quickly as possible. Oh, look at here, Doc. Dr. David Perrodin over at safetyphd.com. You guys check out Dr. David Perrodin. Am I caught up? I might just be caught up. Yes. Best interest, $10. Cappy, do you think what do you think? I'm 19 and getting an associate's in architectural design grade. Are you a fucking idiot? No, you're a fucking moron. You need a doctorate in architecture to have any kind of job to get your license. Stop being a fucking retard and stop majoring in that dumbass shit. Architectural design. An associate? Laugh my fucking dick off. That is a joke. Architecture is one of the worst majors. You need a doctorate. And then you need to get licensed in it. Just become a mechanical engineer. Just go into engineering. Glad I saved your life. You could send me like $40,000 later. Oh my God, Aaron, you saved me like way more than $40,000. But here's $40,000 because you saved me way more than that. I'd be like, thank you. Here's this $40,000. I can go and invest it in, I don't know, flooring or something like that. So, all right. See you guys later, tools.